Hello, everybody. I'm Nita, or the Gifted One, as I like to call on my channel. And today I'm doing my first video on, basically a movie review of 50 Shades of Grey. Or as I like to call it, 50 Shades of why the fuck did I spend my money on watching this piece of shit. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, why did you go see it in the first place? Very good question. Honestly, I just wanted to laugh, and to be quite honest, sometimes, certain movies, like Nicolas Cage movies nowadays, I actually prefer to wait till it comes on DVD because I know most likely it's really going to be full of shit. But, this movie I thought because of Jamie Dornan, and I'm going to get to why. But anyway, I thought because of Jamie Dornan, who was cast as Christian Grey, that it might relatively be decent, but no. So, let's start with my favorite part of any movie, and probably what I'm gonna, chat the most about, and that's the acting. I can sum it up in one word. Stilted. It really just looked like two sticks just talking to each other, if sticks could talk. And they can, so you get my point. I really love Jamie Dornan. I will admit, before the show I'm getting ready to talk about, I only knew Jamie Dornan from his Calvin Klein ads. But as an actor, I really didn't know anything about him. I didn't even know that he was the person who starred as Sheriff Graham in Once Upon a Time. Don't get me wrong, I loved him because, Regina wasn't lonely and she finally got some ass. And Regina's my favorite character on that show. Anyway, I really, really love Jamie Dornan's portrayal of, I can't remember the name, but of his character in the TV show The Fall, or the Netflix TV show The Fall. He really, really is good at playing a Ted Bundy kind of serial killer. He has a family, he has kids, he comes off as the normal everyday guy, but he really is a serial killer at night. But the point that I'm trying to make is, the boy has talent. He really does have acting ability. So please, for the love of God, do not judge him on this Christian Grey character, because if you judge him on this character, you're going to think his acting is just shit, and it really isn't. Watch that show. That's probably better. Because when it comes to the acting, you can really tell that the actors really didn't give a shit about this movie. Like, it was evident. And I'm mainly going to talk about the main two actors because those are the two that you see for the vast majority of the film. If anything, those are the two that the film tries to literally shove down your throat that you should give two shits about, and you really don't. Another thing I didn't like was that they omitted the cheesy lines that Anastasia Steele has, played by Dakota Johnson, but they kept the cheesy ass lines that Christian Grey has, such as "Later's baby." Who the fuck says that? I mean, ladies, have you ever dated a guy and he says "Later's baby"? Who the hell says "Laters"? Other than Sherlock, and he says "Laters" or "Laters." But the difference is, he doesn't add a baby to it. I don't know why those two words that it just didn't work with me. I can give it "Laters" or I can give it with "baby." But "Later's baby" just, even Jamie Dornan sounded like he was full of shit when he said it. Like, he did the shot as if he was thinking in his mind, are these words really coming out of my mouth? "Later's baby." Dakota Johnson. What can I say about Dakota Johnson? In all honesty, her performance was actually quite, it was quite good. Actually, it was actually good. She rocked the whole, the sort of passive-aggressive kind of thing, because she's aggressive in trying to get more information about Christian Grey, about trying to learn his background, and trying to learn about why he is the way he is. But then on the flip side, she's very passive in regards to letting him convince her to do these things that initially she kind of really doesn't want to do, but she does it solely to please him, and through pleasing him, she finds pleasure and enjoyment out of the acts herself. For those of you who don't know, or have been sitting under a rock, 50 Shades of Grey is basically a horrendous mockery of literature, where you have Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele. He's basically a fucked up rich boy, or as he likes to present himself, a fucked up rich boy, who meets Anastasia Steele accidentally when she comes to interview him for her friend's school newspaper.
Do you have any interests outside of work?
What about you? I'd like to know more about you.
There's really not much to know about me. Look at me.
I am.
They have an instant connection, and then sparks fly, and he becomes really, really persistent, and he wants to learn more about her, and he basically introduces her to his dark world. Is it BDSM? Yeah. Or S&M for short. And I gotta tell you, as someone who, well, fuck it. As someone who really, digs aspects of S&M, this really was a poor-ass representation of it. I mean, if people go away thinking that this kind of a relationship is an actual representation of a S&M or BDSM or whatever the fuck you want to call it, relationship, they are sorely wrong. I mean, no one should have to convince you to do something that you didn't want to do in the first place to please them. In those kind of relationships, people are doing it because they want it. They like it. You're spanking someone's ass, or if you're the one getting spanked, you're doing it not to please the other person. You're doing it because you personally get pleasure out of it. And at the end of the day, Anastasia Steele's source of pleasure comes not from actually getting some sort of gratification from what she has Christian do to her. The gratification that she receives is basically a result of the sexual gratification that she sees that he receives from the acts that they do. For example, let's even take sex out of it. Let's say I never really liked Klondike bars, and I see someone else eating a Klondike bar. I see a guy that I like eating a Klondike bar. Now I can't pronounce Klondike. But anyway, you get the point. And I see him eating it. It's different if I see him eating it, and he tells me how good it is, and then I eat it myself, and I'm like, damn, that Klondike bar is actually good. In comparison to him giving me the Klondike bar and me eating it, and even though I feel like it tastes like shit, but I'm actually going to convince myself that I like it because he likes it. That's not the same damn thing, and this movie tries to pass it off as if it is. The best thing about this movie was the music. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll say about 50% of the goddamn artists, I don't know. I don't listen to music nowadays. But the music in this movie was actually pretty good. It actually fit, the emotion behind the scenes, if you can call it emotion, because honestly, sometimes, I'm telling you, the chemistry there was not there. I mean, there was more, I hate you chemistry, I want to kill you, than it was, I want to jump your bones between the two of them. And there's really no point in talking about anybody else, because either the supporting cast were either not memorable enough for me to talk about, or they were good enough where I really don't have anything to, get on them about. Also, one bit of casting I feel like, miscasting in my opinion, is casting Marcia Gray Harden. I so probably mispronounced her last name. I can't remember her last name. But Marcia Gay, if I'm not mistaken, as Christian Grey's mother. I was kind of disappointed about that. I would have preferred her as Mrs. Robinson, because Marcia Gay is fucking awesome, and she still looked fabulous at her age. So I was kind of disappointed when I saw her cast as Christian Grey's mother. I was kind of like, damn. So, not that I'm gonna see the sequel by any stretch of the imagination. I'll wait for it to come out on DVD, but I will admit, I am a little intrigued about who they're gonna cast as Mrs. Robinson, because she's supposed to be like this fine, beautiful, elegant, regal, sophisticated older woman who likes to spank and dominate young men for her pleasure. So yeah. Trying to think of anything else I can say about this movie. Oh yeah, the nudity. I am sorely disappointed. Now don't get me wrong. As a woman, I do go to movies like this with very low expectations because dick in Hollywood is still considered a no-no. But I was, you did see Jamie Dornan's ass, but then again, he said from the get-go in like interviews that he was not going full frontal. And I completely understand that. The man has a wife and a child, and don't get me wrong, even though some people are totally fine with doing that, not everybody is. And obviously, he didn't feel like that was something he should do. If that's the close I can get, fine. But Dakota Johnson, now don't get me wrong, girlfriend bared her soul for that role. I really didn't get the feeling that she really liked the character or the film that she was playing. I mean, if you look at her in interviews, she does come off as very kind of, they both do come off as if they're saying to themselves, God, I only did this for the money. I've probably seen every inch of Dakota Johnson, and not that I'm titillated by that in any way, shape, or form, but I just got tired of seeing her after a little while. It just became a little too, the nudity in this film kind of reminded me, even though it's nowhere near that, but the nudity in this film kind of reminded me of the nudity in Showgirls. After a little while, the nudity is not, in the film, gets to a point where it doesn't even attempt to be enticing or intriguing. It's just there. Sometimes during the sex scenes, I didn't get the feeling like seeing her nude was supposed to turn, well, not me on, but she's not my type. But just, turn the audience on, or whoever the hell they're trying to market this film to. And it just didn't. Like, maybe after the first sex scene, it just became logical, They're about to have sex, so she's nude. There you go. Yeah. So, I would say out of 5 stars, I would give this film half of a star. The acting is horrible, and I know I kind of went, ham on that. The script is less to be desired, but then again, look at the source material that they had to create this shitty script from in order to make this shitty movie, which started with an even shittier book. I mean, people, if you read the book, I'm telling you, a fucking 4th grader could write a book that would be more coherent and would actually live up to the English language more than that book ever did. Also, fun fact, people, did you know that E.L. James, I believe I got her name right, the author of 50 Shades of Grey, actually eventually went on to admit that 50 Shades of Grey was actually based upon another shittier franchise by Stephenie Meyer called Twilight. She literally took the characters and the storyline from that series and just added a few tweaks, mainly the quote-unquote S&M part, and just dumped it onto Twilight's story. God damn it. God damn it.
Down.
I got sucked in again. I mean, I bought the shitty Twilight books, and then goddammit, I bought the shitty 50 Shades of Grey. What the hell is wrong with me? In conclusion, 50 Shades of Grey, just don't waste your money. Men, if you get the feeling like your woman isn't gonna, bang you if you don't go to this movie, just take the hit. Just take the hit. Just jerk off, or, just hold it in. Trust me, you will thank me for it. Because you're gonna feel like, A, you wasted your money, B, you wasted your time, Just don't. Because it doesn't represent S&M in any way, shape, or form, even remotely correctly. But no. Don't do it. And women, just, personally, take it from me. If you did buy the shitty ass book, just stick with your imagination, okay? Just literally, please, just think of Jamie Dornan in his Calvin Klein ad, picture him as Christian Grey, and go from there. Trust me, the sex scenes in your head will be 10 times better than the sex scenes in that movie. Okay, have a good one, y'all. And this is Nita, signing off.